I'm Lilly Douse, and this is Grand Voyager. From my base in Qatar, I travel the world to discover incredible places filled with culture, luxury and adventure. Along the way, I meet the people, taste the flavours and experience the moments that make each destination unforgettable. Today, I'm travelling from Qatar to the heart of Southeast Asia. I'm in a place where ancient temples stand side by side with modern skyscrapers.
Swadee ka and welcome to Thailand. I'm here in Bangkok, a city where ancient traditions meets non-stop energy, colour and life.
I start in Thailand's cultural heart with Alex from Thai Tour Guides, meeting at the Grand Palace, a symbol of royal history.
The Grand Palace compound and cover an area, 61 acres.
61 acres. We're not covering 61 acres today,
we just visited the temple and the king residence. It was the king residence.
Built in 1782, the Grand Palace is a vast complex of royal residences, ceremonial halls, government buildings, and sacred temples. At its heart sits the temple of the Emerald Buddha, surrounded by ornate courtyards and intricate Thai architecture. The mosaics tell their own story of change. Alex traces the patterns with me, explaining how the temple's signature style developed over the centuries.
They start decoration in the King Rama III. Like this ceramic. This is from China. Chinese, because we import. That's why it changed. Different era, different decoration.
Today, the Emerald Buddha stands as a mesmerizing sight, which is notably draped in gold leaf throughout. Moving deeper inside the complex, Alex leads me to the king's residence, once the private world of Thai royalty.
This is the throne hall. The throne hall, the function used for when we have a celebration for the king's birthday, queen's birthday, and then we have a big ceremony like a coronation ceremony.
Leaving the palace behind, we head to the Chao Phraya River and board a traditional longtail boat. This historic river is the perfect way to see how old and new Bangkok collide.
How long have people been living on the canal here in Thailand?
Generation to generation, about 500 years. Probably more than 500 years.
Before roads, Bangkok ran on water. This natural waterway is connected to a vast network of man-made canals. After a scenic ride, the boat drops us near one of Bangkok's oldest royal temples. Its centerpiece is the reclining Buddha, a 46-meter golden statue that dominates the entire hall.
Some people, they say sleeping Buddha, not sleeping, just reclining or relaxing, lay down. And so this temple, very famous for Thai massage. This is the birthplace of Thai massage.
Our final stop is Bangkok's 24-hour flower market, bursting with blooms central to Thai culture.
We use a flower for offering, like the yellow one, the marigold, we use for offering the Hindu god. And some flower, lotus flower, we use for offering the Buddha.
Walking through the flower market is truly breathtaking, with every person you meet greeting you with kindness. I've had an incredible time exploring the city with Alex, but now it's time to head to my hotel. For this trip, I'm staying at the Four Seasons Bangkok, a 5-star hotel right on the banks of the Chao Phraya River. From the moment you arrive, the resort surrounds you with a perfect blend of modern elegance and traditional Thai charm.
Bangkok might move fast, but here time flows like the river. Peaceful, elegant and full of Thai hospitality.
To kick my day into high gear, I've signed up for a Thai kickboxing class in the hotel's state-of-the-art gym. After the instructor wraps my hands, we dive straight into an intense session, learning the fundamentals of Thailand's national sport, from punches and kicks to using my knees for defence. There's definitely a lot to learn, but after some trial and error, everything clicks, and I'm finally able to string the movements together. After a demanding workout, I've booked a traditional Thai massage in the hotel's spa. It's a great place to relax and reset. A traditional Thai massage is both energizing and deeply restorative. Unlike oil-based massages, it uses rhythmic pressure, assisted stretching, and gentle joint movements to release tension. To round out the hotel's luxury experience, I stop for lunch at one of its 5 on-site restaurants, Palmier by Guillaume Galliot. It's the perfect place to slow down and watch the world drift by before heading back into the energy of the bustling city. To explore more of Bangkok, I'm meeting with Wat from Must Try Bangkok Tours. We are heading out on a bike ride around the capital.
The best way to go around is by bicycle because you can go in a small alley, see a hidden way, and you can stop anywhere you wanted to.
We set off through some local back streets before cycling our way to the river, where Wat explains more about how Bangkok has evolved over time.
And what we are right now is old Bangkok. Over there, there's a new Bangkok.
And how long ago was old Bangkok developed and then the new one?
Old Bangkok began around 250 to 280 years ago. And new Bangkok is around 150 to 180 years ago.
We cycle along the river to our first stop, a 5th-generation curry noodle spot with hardly any seating. Locals gather outside, drawn by the food, not the frills.
The noodles itself is Asian cultures from 1,000 of years. But curry, actually from India. But chili are actually brought into Thailand or to Asia by Portuguese, but are from South America, from Mexico.
Wow, so all around the world, it's very international.
We then set off through some small streets and narrow roads, where Wat brings me to try some local street food and explains why this is so popular in Thailand.
So food here in Thailand are served small portion. It's designed to make people keep eating and eating and eating.
Firstly, we try some delicious and unique fruits, starting with mangosteen, moving to jackfruit and even longan. Everything tastes so sweet and delicious.
It's like candy. It's like eating a sweet.
Next up, we try one of Thailand's most famous desserts, mango sticky rice. It's every bit as good as you'd expect, with the perfect balance of sweetness and bright, tangy flavour. We hop back on our bicycles and head to a calm riverside cafe.
So yeah, how do you like it?
I had such an incredible time. The bicycles are the best way to see as much of the authentic side of Thailand.
And you can see how local people are living with a calm, slow and peaceful life.
Having experienced the many sides of Bangkok, it's time to venture beyond the inner city for my final discoveries. For the next part of my journey, I'm exploring another canal in Thailand. I'm meeting Joy from Thai Tour Guide.
Welcome, Lily.
Hello, Miss Joyce. Swadika.
Swadika. Enjoy. Now you can see now this is the pier of the floating market. You can see the old boat, the chang. Before we go by the trading, everything we put in the chang like this.
I then learn how Thai people traditionally carried goods to and from their boats, a centuries-old method that relies entirely on balance. Joy leads me to board a boat to reach the floating market.
They're selling everything. The hat is a Thai farmer hat or something. This is a bamboo. See?
I love this bamboo hat.
The bamboo hat, you see? So beautiful.
It truly is a sight to behold, with so many vendors offering an array of foods and goods.
Floating along the canals in Thailand, you really feel together with the people. This is their community where they sell goods and smile. They make you feel at home.
Next, we explore the Mae Klong train market, one of the most unique markets in the world. When the train rolls through, stores are quickly pulled back, then reopened once it passes, offering a fascinating glimpse into local life and commerce.
The energy in Thailand is electric, but people at the same time are so kind, so peaceful, so relaxed. The contrast is breathtaking.
Joy walks me through the market, stopping to show me some of the delicious goods on offer, from deep-fried banana to Thai coffee.
It is delicious.
As my journey draws to a close, Joy guides me to a truly special part of Thailand, the historic city of Ayutthaya.
Now we are at the Ayutthaya, see the second capital city of Thailand. You can see so many temples, 500 temples at Ayutthaya province, and that's what we have around Thailand, 43,000 temples.
Founded in 1350, Ayutthaya was once one of the largest and most prosperous cities in Southeast Asia. The city thrived as a centre of trade, culture and diplomacy for over 4 centuries. Today, Ayutthaya is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, famous for its stunning temple ruins that offer a glimpse into Thailand's rich past. We start by exploring one of the city's oldest sites.
This temple in the early Ayutthaya period, about the 1374. 1374 is been 600 years already.
Walking through the temple, you can almost step into the past, picturing the people who once filled these sacred spaces. Next, we head to the largest temple in the ancient royal palace.
Now we are at the Wat Prasi Sanpet temple. This temple before is mean the residence of the king. From the 1350 until 1488. It means not the temple, this is the residence of the king living here.
Its 3 towering stupas once housed the ashes of Ayutthaya's kings, making it a symbol of both religious devotion and royal power.
Now you can see this building, we call the building for the replace of the high standing Buddha, 16 meter high. Yeah, 16 meter high made by the gold, 347 kilogram gold.
Ayutthaya is truly breathtaking, and seeing it up close is a fitting way to end my journey here.
Thailand is a country where modern skyscrapers rise amongst ancient temples. There's so much to this country, from the incredible food, the smiles on people's faces, and of course, the culture. But now, time for my next adventure.